list of them then, runners and riders. Number 1 is B4 Salmon, Blinkered, Andrew McNamara. Number 2, Bob in Joe Tizard. 3, Cane Break, David Casey. 4, Exotic Dancer, Tony McCoy. 5, Forget the Past, and Barry Geraghty. 6, Halcyon Genelades, who wears blinkers for the first time, Robert Thornton. 7, Idle Talk, Jason Maguire. Number 8 is Kauto Star and Ruby Walsh, the 11 to 8 favourite. Number 9, Kingscliff, Robert Walford. 10, Lammy, Mick Fitzgerald. 11, Marble Garden, who is blinkered and ridden by John Kington. 12, Munker Hostin, Richard Johnson. 13, My Will and Sam Thomas. 14 is Neptune Collonge, Liam Hurd. 15 is a non-runner. 16, State of Play, Paul Maloney. 17, Sibelius Darte, James Davis. 18, The Listener, Daryl Jacob. And 19 is Turpin Green, Blinkered, Tony Dobbin. 7 to 8. 9 to 2, Exotic Dancer. State of Play is 7 to 1. 14's My Will and The Listener, who got the go-ahead about an hour ago to run. B4 Salmon 16s, Lammy 16s, 20s Forget the Past, 25s Cane Break. Halcyon Genelades being supported, 25s from 33s. Munker Hostin 25s, Idle Talk 40s, Kingsley 40s, Turpin Green the same.
After a first timer for the Totesport Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2007, 3 1/4 miles, 22 daunting fences in front of them. Idle Talk with the sheepskin noseband showing up on the inside. Kingscliff is up there with the early pace, so too is My Will. Kauto Star took it on the inside alongside Munker Hostin at the back, tracked there by Exotic Dancer, and last of all is Sibelius Darte as they go towards the second fence. B4 Salmon has come through now to take over as they all clear the second fence comfortably. From Idle Talk on the inside, Kingscliff racing in third. Neptune Collonge on the inside, the grey is fourth. The other grey, The Listener, on his outside. My Will in the red cap follows. And then Bobbin on the outside of Lammy and Forget the Past. State of Play hugging the inside rail there on the inside of Forget the Past. Halcyon Genelades in the middle of the field follows next with Munker Hostin on his inside. Turpin Green racing wider, trucking Bobbin out there. Then comes Cane Break, who's usually held up. Marble Garden, Sibelius Darte, and last of all now is Exotic Dancer as they go over that next fence. Exotic Dancer got in a bit tight there as well, but he got over to the other side, which is the important thing as they head down towards the water jump, fence number 4. And Idle Talk together with Kingscliff, who didn't get too high at that. On the wide outside is My Will. Pace seems a steady one. B4 Salmon is with these leaders as well. Yellow colours with the green cap. He took that in about joint second. He's unseated Idle Talk. B4 Salmon crashed into Idle Talk and unseated his rider. They're unlucky, Jason Maguire, out of the race. The first casualty of the Gold Cup as they go to the last fence over on the far side. At this stage, Kauto Star is just lobbing along gently at the back of the main group with a gap of 3 or 4 lengths further back to Exotic Dancer as they continue their way then left-handed towards the open ditch. B4 Salmon has come through to take over now. It was out-jumped there, though, by Kingscliff, put in a storming leap on the outside there, and also going pretty strongly is Bobbin. They're sorting themselves out then at the top of the hill. Bobbin comes through now from B4 Salmon. My Will is there as well. Forget the Past, and Neptune Collonge up the inside. They all jumped that one safely enough. Then further back on the outside of these leaders then is My Will, The Listener, just chasing with Kingscliff, who's just lost his pitch slightly. On the inside of him is State of Play, who's being held onto by Paul Maloney. Wider still Turpin Green with Marble Garden Lammy as they take this next potentially tricky fence. Super leap there by Kauto at the back of the pack, together with Halcyon Genelades, red cap. Cane Break is held up in that part of the field too. So too Munker Hostin. Exotic Dancer running away with Tony McCoy down the hill is still full of running. He's keeping the brakes on him though until much later in the race. On they come down then towards another potentially tricky one. The loose horse just putting off My Will, who crashed into Bobbin on the outside, but let's hope he gets out the way shortly. They're making their way then down to their point of departure and reaching just about the halfway point in the Totesport Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2007, and the leaders changed hands several times. It's Neptune Collonge and B4 Salmon now, pestered by that loose horse. A break of a length and a half to 2 lengths to My Will, Bobbin, and then Kingscliff, Forget the Past, State of Play. Lammy with a good sit is just behind these. Turpin Green is getting a good sighting of his fences on the outside as they took that Kauto Star great jump up the inner of The Listener, and then further back to Munker Hostin, Halcyon Genelades, Cane Break. The outsider Marble Garden taking off on the outside is still well in touch, and last of all Sibelius Darte and Exotic Dancer still hung on to by the champion jockeys, about 10 lengths off the pace as they make their way up the hill for the final time, and got to do it all over again. So far they've jumped 12 of the 22 fences. They've got 10 more to go. Before Salmon and Neptune Calange matching strides in as they take the turn and head off down the hill for the final time. My Will is in third place. State of Play has made good ground. He goes up to dispute fourth now with Forget the Past. And then on the outside comes Turpin Green with a white cap as they get ready for this first fence down the back. Turpin Green is followed then by Kingscliff, Bad Mistake, Bob, and as he loses ground towards the back of the field, Kauto Star has made up a little bit of headway then as they go towards the water jump. Exotic Dancer's passed a couple of rivals as well. Here's the water, and it's still Neptune Calange who's just in front of Before Salmon. The Listener is there as well. Then My Will on the outside, getting a great run too, is Turpin Green, and then wider than to Marble Garden as they take the open ditch. The Listener made a mistake there. Back in the field then, Kauto Star still making very stealthy and steady progress. House on Genelade just finding the pinch a bit as they go over that next mistake by Neptune Calange. They took that fence. Exotic Dancer still patiently ridden with all the patience in the world at the back of the field. Kingscliff's dropped right out of it, and House on Genelade is also struggling. On they go to the next, the 17th. Neptune Calange the leader. Before Salmon is losing ground. I made a mistake there. There was a faller on the outside. It was the outsider Marble Garden out of the race. They're making their way then towards the next. The 18th fence at the top of the hill before they swing left-handed now. And it's Neptune Calange from the Lister. The two greys touching down in front. Turpin Green is chasing them now, moving up into a very threatening looking third. Forget the Past, State of Play right there. Kauto Star tanking along behind them with Lamy and My Will. And then a break of 2 or 3 lengths back to Exotic Dancer, who's still under heavy restraint as they head off towards the next. Heading down the hill, Exotic Dancer got in close there. Neptune Calange the leader as they make their way down towards the third last in the Gold Cup. Kauto Star very patient behind the leading 5 now. Is only 2 or 3 lengths off the gallop. Turpin Green travelling very strongly indeed for Tony Dobbin. The Listener with every chance. Here's 3 out. Neptune Calange then from Turpin Green, who took it in second. And now the Listener is next. Forget the Past, State of Play being pushed along. The Meet and the Sandwich. Kauto Star is just being weighted with. Exotic Dancer is full of running up the inside. All to play for as they make their way around to the home straight. And now we ask Kauto Star, Ruby Walsh to pick up on the outside. And Tony McCoy's alive to that on Exotic Dancer. And the two of them are cutting through the field as they make their way down to the second last here. And Kauto Star is going to rise in front. Kauto Star in front from Exotic Dancer as they make their way up the hill here towards the final fence in the Totesport Cheltenham Gold Cup of 2007. And it's Kauto Star who comes towards it. He blundered his way over. Well, my goodness, you've got to expect it now. He's 2 or 3 lengths clear of Exotic Dancer as they race on up the hill. Turpin Green is back in third, but the doubters are going to be silenced here. Kauto Star, a brilliant win of the Totesport Cheltenham Gold Cup from Exotic Dancer in second place. Turpin Green, Bunker Holston, and staying on well was Kane Brake into fifth.
But he's beaten Exotic Dancer at 9-2, and I'm sure Nick will have a very positive word for Turpin Green, a 40-1 shot in third, who was revitalised by first-time blinkers. He's run a blinder for the Nicky Richards team, but Exotic Dancer and Turpin Green, they were just not good enough for Kauto Star.